Welcome to a PRSA Philadelphia podcast. In this program, Peter Shankman, president of the Geek Factory and author of Can We Do That? Outrageous PR Stunts That Work and Why Your Company Needs Them. This program was recorded July 17th at Positano Coast in Philadelphia.
Yeah. So they said a couple minutes ago that you might have to compete with the loud, with the loud volume coming from the other side of the room. They said, can you talk loud? Like, do you have any idea who I am? Actually, yes, you do. I'm the hottest blogger, according to, yeah, shut up. Okay. Thank you for having me. Thanks to Steve. Thanks to PRSA Philly. Thanks to everyone. This should be fun. Can you guys hear me in the back over the regulars? Okay. If everyone can hear me except you, it means it's your fault. If everyone else is, yeah, it sounds great. Okay. Here's the deal. I'm going to talk a little bit about social media, a little bit about marketing, a little bit about PR, about stunts, and over the course of the I don't know, next 45 minutes or so, I'll try to make you guys laugh because otherwise there's no point. 5-second brief on who I am for like for the two people who have bought my book. You don't have to listen to this. For the rest of you people in the room. And by the way, how can half of you not be members of Harrow? That's just ridiculous. Okay, how many people who are on Harrow agree that that's just ridiculous? Yeah. See? Okay. This is fun. Okay, so here's the deal. I started my career, I was in grad school, studying fashion and portrait photography, and dropping stuff. I was studying fashion and portrait photography, and with 18, because it was an easy way to meet women. With 18 credits to go, lost my financial aid. I mean, the government was giving me financial aid to take pictures of topless women on a beach. It was cool. Lost my financial aid. Government sent me a letter that said, your parents make too much money. I sent the government back a letter that said, you know what, they do, but they keep it. The government didn't buy it, and I moved back home. 2 weeks later, I was hanging out in the chat room on AOL for Melrose Place. For the people just starting out in PR, that's the equivalent of, I guess, The Hills or Gossip Girl. It was a TV show back in the mid-90s. Okay. I was hanging out in the chat room, and someone said, hey, my company's trying to start a newsroom. Why don't you submit your resume? I said, I have no experience. No one's going to hire me. 2 weeks later, America Online was moving me down to become one of their first AOL news editors. And I helped launch AOL News. Spent 2.5 years at AOL, not having a damn clue what I was doing, along with 4 other editors, none of whom knew what we were doing, except we were spending 20 hours a day there and getting drunk. And it was amazing. And by the time I left AOL and moved back to New York, everyone said, oh, you worked for AOL, you taught the world what online news was. Okay. You should be doing PR. Okay, I can talk, sweet. And so I was consulting for a while and wanted to start my own agency. This will give you some idea of how I faked. It was the summer of '98 and the movie Titanic was coming out on video. And it was a small, I'm not surprised if none of you heard of it, it was a small independent film about a boat. Everywhere you looked, you saw signs that buy Titanic on video, buy Titanic on video. So on a whim, wanting to make some money to start my agency, and by start my agency, I mean pay off my MasterCard and buy a computer. I had 500 t-shirts printed up, and the t-shirts read, it sank, get over it. And I went into Times Square, and I figured if I could sell 180 shirts in a week, I'd break even. I'd go out every night, I'd sell these shirts, I'd break even. Anything more than that was, is it me? Am I magnetic? I'm dropping it. I figured anything more than that is cash money I could put towards, starting my company, paying off my MasterCard, but other than that, I just want to break even, otherwise I'm moving back into mom and dad's basement. So I went out and I figured it'd take a week, and I went into Times Square on a Friday night, and 6 hours later had sold 500 t-shirts, made $5 grand. You're all mostly finished with your food, so I can tell you that I came home then, threw it up in the air, rolled around at me. Called a reporter I knew at USA Today the next morning and said, hey, I just did something really funny. And this was my first introduction to the true power of PR. She said, that's hysterical, you selling the t-shirts online? And I went, of course I am. That's why I called you. The website is built the worst website known to man. I mean, I think it was buy shirt, click. It was just hideous. 2 days later, I'm lying in bed. It's about, 7 in the morning, and the phone rings. And it's the hosting provider of my website. Shankman started calling you so early. Have you started advertising or something? I'm like, no. Why? At 7 in the, what the hell's wrong with you? Sure, normally you get about 100 visitors a day to your website. Most of them are you. Thanks, going back to bed now. No, sir, you don't understand. You've had over 37,000 unique visitors to your website in the past 2 hours. You've taken down our first, second, and third primary servers. You're about to crash our fourth, fifth, and sixth. Sir, we only have 7. story broke on the front page of the Life section of USA Today. Michelle Healy wrote it in the Lifeline section. And as you know, the media reads USA Today religiously to figure out what the hell to talk about. Hang up the phone, literally as I put it down in the cradle, it rings again. Peter, hey, Gary Delbate, Howard Stern. You got 2 seconds to talk about the t-shirts? We fucking hate that movie. Of course I do. I mean, you get a picture of the moment. It's 7 in the morning. I'm sitting there in my underwear with a cat looking at me. It was fun. So, 2 months and a little over 10,000 shirts sold at $15 a piece later. Cleared 100 grand, started my first company. And it was sort of one of those whims where you're like, what's the worst that can happen? And one of the things, like the takeaways from today's lunch, that you have to have takeaways. One of the takeaways you should take away, I guess, as opposed to like the takeaways that you leave here, I don't know, is if it doesn't end in the words time of death recorded at, or international incident was created when, or what's my third one? Time of death, international incident, no, bail is set at, you might as well just try it. And that kind of goes for clients, and that goes for like PR ideas, and that goes for social media. You're not gonna break the internet, except I kind of did once or later. You're not gonna like, as long as you're not winding up in jail and the client doesn't wind up on the page of 60 Minutes in a bad way, why the hell not give it a try? And I think that too many of the people who are in PR and who are in social media especially, because there is no social media, I'll explain that in a second, but people who are in PR, we tend to do it that way because it's always been done that way before. And we branch out into social media, but yet we branch out into social media and into viral and into stunts, doing it the exact freaking way we did 50 years ago when we had to mail a letter via the post office. So you're not really, it's like the CEO who's, I'm on email, and by being on email, he means that his secretary prints out all his emails so he can read them. That's not being on email. Okay, and it's sort of the same way we're taking a look at PR that way, in the respect that we're kind of doing that, like doing the same traditional things. We're pitching the same reporters with the same crap pitches and the same garbage that we've been sending out for 30 years, not realizing that, you know what, there might be a blog that is 100% better targeted towards the press, and it might only have 15,000 people reading it, and those 15,000 people are the 15,000 people that you want reading it, and no one at the Philadelphia Inquirer gives a damn about your story, except for those 15,000 people who are reading a blog. And yet we still go, no, we're going to pitch it to the Journal and the Times and it makes it so freaking easy when I come in and talk to these people after that. There's kind of the concept that we live in a society that invented the, I understand why we invented fast food. Okay, that's cool. We don't want to cook all the time. Where I kind of have the problem, where I think we cross the line, is after fast food, we were too lazy to get off our asses and walk into the McDonald's to get the burger, so we invented the drive-thru. Okay, we live in a society where the drive-thru is the height of creativity. That being said, we kind of don't have that far to go. Okay, if we want to raise the bar a little bit and you want to be thought of as a hero, it's not really that difficult. Because we're kind of looking at a world that has a drive-thru as sort of the, top level of creativity here. So, what are we looking at here? We're talking about social media, and we're talking about, what is social media? Everyone, what is social media? Just what's social media?
Social media is an opportunity to network online in information age through IT and every single tool available.
Okay, an opportunity to network to whatever, a bunch of stuff you said. Okay, try one more person. What's social media?
I think social media are all the different ways that you connect with millions of different groups and millions of different kinds at millions of different times through millions of different...
Okay, a lot of freaking ways is what social media is what you did. Here's my question. Why do you want to connect with a lot of millions of people? My definition of social media is that it doesn't exist. Social media does not exist. Web 2.0 does not exist. Web 3, if you ever call it Web 3.0, I will smack you. None of that stuff exists. You know what we have? We have life. Okay? We have life. I heard a couple people go, yes, finally, it's Santa, testify. We have life. Okay? That's all we really have. We have ways of communicating with people that haven't changed since we're drawing on caves. The only thing that has changed is the speed and availability at which we can do it. Okay, you know what that means? That means if you are bad at networking and the only thing you think of networking is as going to a meeting once a month, having a drink in your hand and throwing business cards at random people, if you suck at networking, guess what? You're going to suck at this thing called social media. Great example, my dad, okay? One of the best jazz musicians in the world, Grammy-nominated jazz musician, okay? Can play the pants off any piano in the world. I learned to scat to the Sesame Street theme when I was 2 years old, okay? Thanks to him, all right? Every year he'd go to Sears and he'd buy a tool. Where the hell happened that the coolest tool happened to be that year? The PRSA 3000 or whatever it was. He'd go buy it, okay? And then he'd go into the garage for a couple of days and he'd come out with the crappiest birdhouse, okay, or the most lopsided table, I mean, he'd come out with something and we just would know not to put anything on it. The poor bird that went into the birdhouse was never to be seen again. Okay? So you can have all the most expensive tools in the world that you want. If you don't know how to use them, you're kind of not going to make anything out of them. And that's kind of where we are in this world of social media right now. We have a society where, how many of you are on Facebook? How many of you are on LinkedIn? Which one do you think is more important for business? Show of hands. Facebook's more important. Show of hands. LinkedIn's more important. How many of you have actually gotten business out of LinkedIn? Kind of kills that theory right to hell, doesn't it? 90% of you raise your hands that LinkedIn is more important than Facebook for business, and 3 of you raise your hand that actually got business out of LinkedIn. You got business out of LinkedIn? You are very much in the minority. Are you a recruiter? Okay. Because the people who get business out of LinkedIn are recruiters. Why? Because you have 54 million resumes for $3,500 a year that you can look at. Okay, that's a sign of millions to millions. Why do I bash LinkedIn? I don't bash LinkedIn. Right, everyone, I bash PR Newswire. That's an entirely different story. Why do I bash LinkedIn? It's a concept of the fact that LinkedIn has gotten this reputation as the business place to network. Okay, all it is really is your resume seen by other people who know you or have some connection to you and want to. I love when you get the emails. You know, I want to add you to my professional network on LinkedIn, as opposed to like, hey, I want to meet you and talk to you more. I don't want to be your friend. I just want to find out sort of what you can do for me. So the concept behind LinkedIn is, get all these people who are on your professional network and then network with them. How many of you have actually ever networked online with a person who added you, who died as soon as the light went out? Let's try that again. And we're dead. Okay. Who's going to fix that for me? No one at all. Okay. You got it? Cool. Okay. So, and we got softer. The people in the back got louder. Actually, is what really happened. All right. So until they fix that, I'll keep talking. You can't hear me? Can anyone else hear me? Well, too bad. I don't have a mic anymore. Okay, I'll try talking a little louder until my mic comes back, but I'll keep holding it here like I have a mic. LinkedIn, the whole concept behind LinkedIn is you connect with people who supposedly are people you want to work with, people you want to. Problem is, all I know about those people is what's on. It really doesn't work. I'm just talking louder. So,
okay.
If you can fix it, that'd be awesome.
I don't know. I'll try.
Okay. So on LinkedIn, the whole concept there is that you meet people you supposedly want to work with, but all they know about you from LinkedIn is a resume. That's about it. A resume and a bunch of like, hey, this guy's awesome, that you see at the bottom. Has any of you ever worked with someone that didn't like you and then asked them to leave you a nice recommendation on LinkedIn? I seriously doubt it. So it's like, what am I supposed to believe on that? That you know a lot of people who you've asked to say nice things about you and they have. Okay, let's take that a step further. Yes, it works again. Sweet. Okay, so let's take that a step further. Why do I think Facebook works? How many of you are on Facebook? Okay, which one do you think is more of a time sucker? Which is stickier, Facebook or LinkedIn? Okay, thank you very much.
I think I have it.
Do you?
The battery. Yeah.
Is it? Nope.
No.
Try again? Is it too far away from the
I think
receiver?
it's about, yeah, maybe.
Okay, I'm just going to scream.
That's fine.
Okay, no problem. So the concept, here's my concept behind Facebook. It's a sneaky process, right? You're on Facebook for a couple hours at any given time, right? What are you doing when you're on Facebook? First time with water? Yeah. What are you doing? By the way, this is Jen Miller, one of the best reporters, hands down, who covered the affiliate and said, can't drink worth anything, apparently, but she is one of the best reporters you're ever going to meet. So, you're on Facebook, you're looking you're looking at different things, you're looking at different places to go, right? You're looking at different people, you're looking at the kind of things they do, you're getting into it, you're getting intimate with people on Facebook through the profiles. How many of you are friends of mine on Facebook? How many of you added me as a friend? How many of you, when you go and look at my profile, you watch the skydiving videos, you see my 2 ridiculously overweight cats, you know something about me. That's social networking. Okay, all it is, that's life. That's being able to find out people who have something in common with you other than just, hey, we both work in PR. Okay? And the concept behind social networking and the concept behind marketing yourself through these networks is the ability, this is the most technologically fun panel I've ever done, is the ability to create that online persona. I'm going to give you some idea of where we're going to be at 36 to 48 to 72 months. Okay? We are all going to be doing what Steve Lubetkin is doing right now, which is tweeting as he's videotaping and probably answering an email at the same time. Okay? We'll be doing it hopefully not as we're driving. You gonna go for it, you think? No, I'm just kidding. Yes, okay. There we go. Thank you very much. So, no, I'm just kidding. So here's the thing. Here's our prediction 36 months from now, okay? We get up in the morning. Let's say you're going on a business trip today. You're in 36 months, you're on a business trip to Chicago. You get up in the morning, like 4 a.m., catch your plane. Go to the bathroom. Anyone ever been in those hotels where the mirrors in the bathroom have the screens built into them? And you watch like CNN, it's sort of built into the mirror, it looks pretty cool. Those are becoming more and more ubiquitous and much, much cheaper. Those will be in your next apartment, your next house. So you get up in the morning, you turn off your alarm clock, which has an IP address in it, as will everything you own. Sends a little note to the bathroom, shower turns on, TV comes on automatically. CNN has the latest headlines wherever you watch. And you know the scroll bar underneath the CNN, the bottom scroll, 44 people today, the bottom scroll. That's replaced. That's no longer news. That's your own personal live stream. Okay? It's your own personal live stream with people, with things that happened over while you were sleeping, over the course of the evening and yesterday, to the people you care about the most. What we're moving towards, with apologies to Robert De Niro and in that movie, we're moving towards circles of trust. Okay? We are moving towards a world where the restaurant reviewer has no more power anymore. Where the movie critic is out of a job. Because you're no longer counting on people you've never met who have no idea about your tastes to determine what you like. We're moving towards a world where the people who are going to make those determinations about what you like, what you should be wearing, where you should go to dinner, what kind of fish you should have, what airplane you should fly on, what car you should buy, what job you should take. All those are going to be recommended by your friends. Okay, and never before will we be in such a society where those types of recommendations come at you on a regular basis, because there will be more and more ways for people to know about what you're doing. Okay? Now, before you freak out and think, oh my God, Big Brother, I will tell you that we will also never have more of a time in our life where we can actually shut it off and go off the grid. So you wake up, you see your live stream on the bottom there with all your friends, your first level of friends. Now, keep in mind, I'm not talking about MySpace friends. I'm not talking about the, hey, get 10 million friends because it's cool. I'm talking about the people that matter. One of the beauties of this whole social networking world that doesn't exist is that we're adding people at a ferocious rate, and the drop-off is huge. So you add thousands of friends, you follow maybe 1% of them, maybe. You follow 15 people on average. The average person follows 15 people with any sort of regularity. There are 15 people in their world that they actually want to know about those updates. You know, Facebook has a mobile app where you can actually get updates of people sent to your phone. There are 15 people that I follow that actually are worth having their updates go to my phone. So I want to know what they're doing. And the rest of them are kind of cool. And if I have a couple of minutes, maybe I'll look at it. Put it in the toolbar so I can see what their statuses are, except today. As we all know that every status today is about Harrow. But you can do that, and that's what it's going to be. It's going to be those 15 people. That's going to be your first circle of trust. Second circle of trust is going to be everyone else in your network. Third circle of trust is going to be everyone else in the world who's friends with everyone else in your network, who's friends with the people that you care about. What's going to happen is we're going to start getting the updates only from those 15 people we want, and then only from our second and third circle of friends using keywords. So we're going to designate what keywords count. If we're in the President's Club waiting for a connecting flight to Amsterdam, we're going to put a keyword out so that the only people that will get updates from our second and third level of friends are people who match those keywords. Because I don't care what Joe is doing in Montana that I met at a business conference 3 years ago and haven't spoken to since. But if he happens to be in the President's Club in Philly waiting for a flight to LA, yeah, maybe I'll say hi. That's where we're going, and it provides a much better level of interaction to the people that we want to find out about. So you get to the airport. As you walk into the airport, your ticket's already being printed because the Bluetooth device from your BlackBerry or whatever integrated itself with the Continental Airlines ticket counter and already giving you your ticket. Anyone used the PDA version of ticketing now at Continental? I used this a couple weeks ago at Newark Airport, and they actually knew what to do. You can actually print out on screen, on a BlackBerry, go to a link when you walk into the airport with your ticket, show it to the gate agent, they scan your BlackBerry, walk right on the plane. On Friday, I'm going to JFK Terminal 4 to be interviewed by the U.S. government for basically the lowest level of security clearance possible to get an automatic passport, which basically means that once approved, they will do a retina scan and a hand scan and a voice scan, which is kind of cool. And then the next time I go to anywhere overseas and I come back, I walk up to a machine, I go, hello, my name is Peter Shankman, put my hand down, get my eye scanned, insert a card, and walk right through, and then turn around to the 400 people that got off my plane and have to stand in line at immigration, they go, ah, and walk right through. That's kind of where we're going in terms of this technology. Now, the nice thing about it in terms of from a privacy standpoint is never before will we have more power to get off the grid. If we want to be off the grid, we simply go, we're going off the grid. We shut off our device, and no one knows where the hell we are. As we become more reliant on our circle and on our live stream, the more ability we have to get off it, which is actually kind of wonderful. Because I don't know about you guys, some of you might know I don't sleep that much, but between 12 midnight and 5 a.m., my cell phone and every other device I own is off, and no one can bother me. And if something happens at 3 in the morning that I need to be involved at, they'll wake up. When I wake up at 5 a.m., I'll deal with it. You have to have that. So we're going to see a much bigger balance in our lives. Thanks to this, where we're going in terms of media, in terms of social ability, we're going to see a much bigger balance in being able to get our lives back. How the hell does any of this crap apply to PR? Okay, that's what we're going to talk about. On average, reporters get, anyone want to take a guess, number of emails per day that they delete? Couple of hundred? Couple thousand. The best reporters, the best producers at today's show get up to 2,500 emails a day. They have to delete. Average freelancer, what, 300 to 400 maybe? 300 to 400 on a regular basis? Someone at the New York Times, Saul Hansel, 1,200, 1,500. Someone actually told me this, and I'm not going to tell you who. Tim Russert is still getting pitches. How sad is that? You know why that's sad? Not because Tim Russert died. It's sad, very sad Tim Russert died. The fact that Tim Russert is still getting pitches is sad because it means that people are not doing their homework before we send these out. We are killing ourselves as an industry. Okay, I'm going to go on record and say that basically everyone hates PR people. You know, everyone, all the journalists, I hate PR people. All the reporters, I hate PR people. You know what? They have every friggin' reason to. Okay, we are doing this to ourselves, which brings me to the whole reason that I started Help a Reporter. I want every single one of you, when you send out a pitch tomorrow, whether it's through Harrow or that other service, whatever, or whether it's just a reporter that you want to target and follow, ask yourself, is this 100% relevant? If you have to think for more than a second, I guarantee you it's not. Okay? And if you do that, mark my words, and do that and send that out for a month where you only send out 100% relevant pitches, mark my words, your percentage of hits will go up 50% or better. I will pay anyone $10 who does this and it does not work. Okay, and I will give you as much props as you want if it doesn't work. You prove me wrong. It will work. Because what we're doing is we're raising, you look at the people going to Edelman and going to all the big agencies, not there's anything wrong with any of the big agencies, anyone I name, I love people at every single agency, I have friends at every single one. But as a big agency mentality, what we are doing is raising farms of kids who come out of school and who go to the big agencies, they get thrown a feed, and they get thrown an email address, and they go, here, pitch every single one of our clients on everything we have. Well, what if they don't fit? Find a way to make it fit. I'm all for finding ways to make clients fit, but you know what? That doesn't mean that the only thing the client has in common with the journalist is that they're both breathing the same air. Because that does not work. Okay? And I've talked to way too many reporters. I got to tell you, for those of you who are on Harrow, some of the anonymous queries that we've had over the past week, I won't tell you which ones, have come from the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, the Today Show, Good Morning America, People Magazine, Entertainment Weekly, NPR, and the BBC. And I get into conversations with these reporters as I talk to them, and I go, so what kind of feeds are you getting? One of the a woman from GNA said, I don't know what you're teaching your people, but the responses are surprisingly on target. The fact that she even had to say surprisingly makes me cringe. I'm not shocked. We expect that. Like I said, this goes back again to the concept of the drive-thru. Okay, you don't have to be that much better in this kind of world to be noticed. Do your homework. Okay, and I'm a publicist. I've been just as guilty of this back in the day. It's easy to say, oh, I have to send out 500 pitches because my boss told me to. Well, why did your boss tell you to? Not for nothing, but your boss could very well be an idiot. Okay? How many of you guys have to do call sheets for your clients, listing every person you've called, listing every email you've sent to every reporter? No one's doing call sheets anymore? That is awesome. That is awesome. I've been trying to abolish those like Lincoln tried to abolish slavery. Okay? Call sheets should not exist because all you're doing is trying to please clients with numbers that are BS numbers. I called 412 reporters. How many stories did you get? None. I called 2 and got 2. I win. Okay, this isn't rocket science. You know what I thought? Rocket science isn't even rocket science. Actually, math. But anyway, sorry, a little ADD there. Ooh, shiny. We live in a world where you show those big numbers and everyone's really happy. Okay, the art of social media. How many of you are on Twitter? How many of you ever pitched Ad Age? 2 completely separate questions. How many of you are on Twitter? Raise your hand. How many of you ever pitched Ad Age? How many people are on Twitter who have ever pitched Ad Age? That's really freaking funny because you know what? Every Ad Age reporter has a Twitter account. and Twitter's at least 3 times a day. You will learn more about every ad age reporter if you follow them. It costs nothing. They don't even have to know you're following them, and you will get inside their heads and land every pitch you hit if you know who you're following. How many of you know that 30% of New York Times reporters have Twitter accounts? Okay? I know, Steve. You're like the Twitter. You and me are like sad little men who just
Twitterholics.
We're gonna be 70 years old, like, and be outside the Italian coffee shop. There's a Twitter
Next to each other.
They have kids. They have the implants in the brain now. It's amazing the kind of stuff that you can find out by following reporters. How many of you know that Twitter has a? How many of you don't know what Twitter is? Let's start there. And feel free. It's okay. I'm not gonna make fun of you if you don't. Okay, good. See, she's honest. I'm gonna give you a free copy of my book later. Because you're honest. How the hell can you not know? I'm just kidding. Twitter is, for those who don't know, it is microblogging. Okay, it is the ability to say whatever you're doing, whenever you're doing it. Okay, you can do it from a phone, from any device. It's device agnostic. Okay, that doesn't mean that they don't believe in devices. It just means that you can use any device. You can use your cell phone. You can use your two-way. You can use your Palm, your BlackBerry. You can use your computer, whatever, to update what you're doing to people that follow you and find you interesting. Okay, the cool thing about that is that it has how many of you use Twitter Track? Did you know Twitter has a track function? Do you know that you type in the word track, and then whatever the hell you want to follow, track helpareporter.com. Twitter will then send you updates every time anyone in the Twitter universe uses the term in a tweet. Wouldn't it be cool if we all followed our clients that way? Yeah, it kind of would be. Wouldn't it be cool if we all followed our clients' competitors that way? Yeah, kind of might be. Wouldn't it be cool if we followed the girl we were interested in? It's those kind of things that we don't do, that the technology exists. How many of you have Google News alerts? Good, a good number of you. How many of you don't? Yeah, you know better than to tell me you're not using Google News alerts. Stuff's been around for 8 years. Twitter, I can give you away with not using Twitter Track. They're not promoting it. Twitter.com, sign up, get an account, track, go into the box and type track, and then whatever you want to track. It doesn't show up in your stream. No one knows you're doing it. I guarantee you I'm tracking over 30% of the people in this room. They're on their names and via their Twitter handles. If you're not using Twitter, you're wasting time. If you're not using Facebook to connect with, not only, first of all, let's talk about connecting for a second, because the whole concept of PR, and one of the reasons that a lot of journalists hate us, is because people go into PR thinking, I'm going to call that reporter to see what that reporter can get me. Okay, and unfortunately, we kind of do life with the same sort of concept. I'm going to meet you at a networking event, shake your hand, take your card, and find out what you can do for me. My own concept is, what can I do for them? Not because I'm all into this good karma thing, which I am. I'm a big believer in it. You know, I don't want to come back like, you know, a paper towel or something. I'm a big believer in karma, you know. But on the same note, I also believe that we live in a society where 99.9% of the people in the world think, I'm going to do this to see what I can get out of it. So you want to be different? Do it to see what you can get back to them. That right there will change your entire world. Went to dinner 4 years ago, five or 6 years ago, I was working for Tony Bennett, doing some work for Tony Bennett. Me, my mother, my father, Tony Bennett's wife, and Tony Bennett. Tony Bennett's wife, by the way, is like 29. Okay, it's a cool life you lead. And I know, right? Amen. If I could sing like that for a 29-year-old, I mean, okay. Anyway, so we all go to dinner. We walk into Nobu with no reservation because he's Tony freaking Bennett, and we sit down at Nobu. And we're having dinner, and my mom is, my dad's just like, ooh, fish, and I'm like, ooh, shiny, and we're having dinner, and at some point during the end of dinner, we were finishing our meal, and my mom gets up to go to the bathroom, and Tony Bennett stands up to let my mom, not to let her pass or anything, but to stand up and be a gentleman. My dad and I just started chowing on fish and rice, damn clues what's going on. And my mom comes back in the bathroom, Tony Bennett stands up again. Dad and I are like licking the plates, like drinking the soy sauce. Dinner ends, we all leave. Tony Bennett and his 29-year-old get into the limo, and Dad and I and Mom walk. And my dad's like, "That was a pretty good dinner. Huh? What'd you think?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, it was great. Mom, what'd you think?" Tony Bennett stood up for me. Okay, we didn't. I don't think Mom talked to either of us for about a week and a half. Okay, we were like swine of the earth, but Tony Bennett, who could be murdering babies in his basement, didn't matter because he stood up for my mom, which went to the bathroom. That was 2001. Since then, I have never not stood up when I've been at the table and a woman has gotten up to go to the bathroom. It is not because I'm some playboy. It's not because I'm whatever, because God knows I'm not. It is because it's unexpected. Okay? Gotta tell you, I was at a dinner party probably a year after that happened, and there were 8 couples. We weren't couples per se, but there were 8 boys and 8 girls. We were supposed to, like, the host had some idea of matching all of us. So 8 boys and 8 girls. 2 of the girls got up at one point to go to the bathroom. I backed up my chair and I stood up, sat back down without even like breaking conversation. Did the same thing when they came back. Again, the night I had 6 phone numbers. I'm just saying. You know, it's not rocket science. And the thing about it is that we live our lives not doing that in business, in personal life. We just don't do it. Because as a society, we're built on this whole me mentality. And I'm not saying go out and save the world. It'd be nice, but it's certainly not, you know, hell, we have a life. I can't save the world, I have to go to Pinkberry. Okay, I understand that. But the fact of the matter is that it doesn't kill you to call a journalist you haven't spoken to in a few months, not because you have a pitch, but to say, hey, what's up? What are you working on? What have you been doing? You know, just saying hi. No, I'm not pitching you. I'm just, you know, you need sources. I know people. There's this cool thing called Harrod. What can I do for you? Why are you? Once you get past the initial "why are you calling me" jitters, and they realize that you really don't want anything from them, they're gonna love you. They're gonna love you. How many of you on Facebook? What's the thing? The third thing on the right. First person to know gets the right answer gets a book. What's the third thing on the right-hand side of Facebook when you log on to the homepage? Third thing from the top on the right-hand column. No, that's the first thing. Who else? Okay, the one person who I brought here who knows this answer, who's heard this speech before, said birthdays, ruined it for everyone else. So none of you get books, it's all her fault. I'll come up with another question. It's your birthdays. Okay? How many of you know that your birthday, every day, all your contacts' birthdays are on the right-hand side? Okay? I'll tell you a funny story. There's a guy who founded Interactive Corp. A book to whoever knows who founded Interactive Corp. He founded Paramount, or he ran Paramount. You got a book. How come this room's getting books? Barry Diller founded Interactive Corp. They owned at one point Lending Tree, Expedia. Okay. Every day, when Barry Diller was running, I think it was Paramount back in the 70s, he'd come into his office. He'd come into his office like 2 hours before anything, which is why I get this early as I do. He'd get in his office at like 7 a.m. West Coast time. And he would open up his date book. This is the 70s. They didn't have Outlook. They didn't have Palm Pilots or Blackberries. They had big books. When you opened up the big books, you had all the people's business cards in little slots. For those like under 50, you probably remember this. Business cards, by the way, and slots in books were like little things made. Anyway, Barry Diller would come in every morning and he would pick 10 cards out of this book at random. And this is Barry Diller. He had a lot of cards. He'd pick out 10 cards at random and call the people to say, hey, what's up? Hey, what's going on? What are you working on? What you doing? Hey, I'm saying hi. Yeah, I'm spoken. You know, things are good here, Paramount. Yeah, check it. How's your wife? He'd write down all the facts. Good. No, I know we saw each other last at the Christmas party. We should see each other again. Cool, let's you know what? I'll give you my secretary. Let's set something up. Let's have dinner. Awesome, all right, good talking to you. He'd do this 10 times every morning. Over the course of 4 months, he would get through his entire book. And so he would start again. 3 times a year, you get a call from the head of Paramount Pictures, just to say, or Columbia Pictures, whatever you've been, just to say hi. Just to say hi. The head of Columbia Pictures calling just to say hello. Who do you think you went to when you had a pilot idea? When you had a movie idea? When you needed someone to finance a film? He didn't have Outlook. He didn't have alarms. He didn't have cell phone reminders. He didn't have Twitter or Cha-Cha or any of these things. All he had was a big book and 10 random cards that weren't checked off. We have our contact birthdays and a giant right on their wall button right below it in front of us, and none of us freaking do it. Yeah. Okay, again, the bar is not set so high. Every morning, I get up, I have coffee, I move a cat out of the way, I open my laptop, I see whose birthday it is, and I write a quick happy birthday on their wall. Or, hey, haven't seen you since June. Let's go skydiving sometime soon again. Whatever the case may be. Do you have any idea how many people email me and go, thanks, no one did that. What? That was really nice of you. It takes 5 seconds, guys. It's not rocket science, and it's not impersonal, and it's not forced or manufactured, because I honestly do think that they smile when they see someone at this moment in a while that wishes them a happy birthday. The tools are right there. Okay, Plaxo, as annoying as it is, also does birthdays. So if you're anti-Facebook, if you're afraid it's dangerous or whatever, go on it. By the way, you haven't experienced Facebook scared and Facebook frightening until your parents friend request you. Let's just end that crap right there. So, let's look at that concept. The fact that we have all these tools. If we're gonna have these tools and they're gonna be free, let's use them. Let's use them to our advantage, and let's actually make ourselves remembered and not simply recalled. That's one of the things that amazes me. When I know that Brian Morrissey over at Ad Age is a runner, and I know that he runs most of the New York Roadrunners Club races that I do. And I'm currently in the middle of writing a blog post about how the top three Twitters on Twitter, Brian Morrissey, Andrew Graham, and me, are like the three people from the movie 300, where Brian Morrissey, running like a 6:30 mile, is King Leonidas. Okay? Andrew Graham, who's like a minute or two faster than me, is King Leonidas' chief of staff, the one who goes back afterwards and has to tell his wife that Leonidas did. And then I'm, what's his name? The one with the hump. Okay? Loping along here, watch your help the cause. You know, finishing the damn race like dead. Okay? But coming in and going, heel to throne, you know. Knowing that I can't do it, and it's funny. And Brian gets a kick out of that one after the races when I tweet what Brian wrote and what Brian ran versus what I ran. I've met Brian maybe twice. I pitched him once. Story worked. But why do we do it? Because we're friends, because we know about each other's lives, because we follow this stuff. Reporters, journalists, publicists, producers, we all are real people with real lives, and we all have stuff outside of work. And if the only time you're buddying up to someone is to get them to do something for you, they're gonna see through it, and you're gonna be the idiot. Okay? And I know this sounds incredibly, oh, he's only telling me stuff I don't know. I guarantee you how many of us don't think this way on a regular basis. I'm not perfect. I do the same. I might call someone I haven't spoken to in a while and say, hey, you know, I need something. Granted, we do it. But the fact of the matter is you don't have to do it every second. It doesn't have to be that way on a regular basis. You can figure out ways to implement these people into your lives, integrate these people in your lives if you find them interesting. And I guarantee you, help them out, and they're going to be there when you need them for that story. I guarantee there are pretty much a lot of people who I've saved in terms of Harrow over the past couple of months and gotten sources for in 5 minutes. I guarantee you, if I need a client story, I have a pretty good pool of people that will take my calls. Okay? I didn't start Harrow for any other reason than I have a lot of reporters that are friends, and they're always looking for sources. And rather than going through my book in a flying rage every time they need something, I said, you know, I'll just build a Facebook group. How many of you were on the original Facebook group when I first started? I built an original Facebook group, and I said, hey, if you need a source, if you're a good source, you know something about something, put it here. And what happened was two things happened. Quickly, I grew Facebook. Facebook caps the number of people you can send emails to in a group of 1,200. As that was happening, I had broken a rib, and I was thinking about concocting some great story about how I broke it. You know, I was skydiving, and in the middle of my skydive, there was a shark that was attacking a baby in free fall. But no, I ran into the door of an F train. Yeah, I'm pretty. So I was in a CVS drugstore buying ibuprofen for my broken rib. And by ibuprofen, I mean Percocet. And my phone rings, and it's the head of Profnet. Now, mind you, I'm high as a kite on Percocet. So I'm like, hello? She's like, this is the head of Profnet. Hey! Like, you're stealing our leads. What? Yeah, you posted a lead on your little Facebook. Be condescending to me. That's a good way to, you know, be my friend. You posted a lead on your little Facebook group about Harry Potter that we posted on Profnet. Right? Why is that? Well, you obviously stole that lead from us. Like, well, okay, so like, and I'm totally high. I'm like, so I'm a reporter, and high on a legal substance. My doctor gave it to me, just want to clarify that. So if a reporter gives me the same query via email that they give to you, and we both post it, how am I stealing your leads? In fact, oh my God, Profit, you're stealing my leads. Turns out Profit has no sense of humor whatsoever. So this whole thing, basically, we can sue you. I'm like, look, don't sue me. I'm like, but you know, if you really want to, I just sold a social networking site for business travelers. My suing is actually kind of free. If you have nothing better to do, sure, I got time. But rather than sue me first, why don't you have lunch with me? Let's have lunch. Well, we're both in New York. We're like 6 blocks away from each other. Well, let's talk. See what's going on. The head of Profit said, fine, I'll be in touch. Tumbleweeds, some prairie dogs. Never heard anything from Profit. When the Percocet haze cleared, like about a week and a half later, it was good Percocet. I'm just like, that was really rude of her, ew. And I totally felt like, you know, offended. And besides, I realized it was the only time I'd ever be able to use the term Profnet got all up in my grill. So I built helpareporter.com. For those who don't know, all Help a Reporter is an email list. 3 times a day, I get queries from reporters 24 hours a day via a form that they fill out at helpareporter.com/press. 3 times a day, I take those requests, put them into an email, say something funny and self-deprecating about my life, send it out. It's launched on March 20th with 643 members as an email news list, all ported over from Facebook. It launched with 1 query from the Chicago Tribune. This query, the Harrow that went out. Anyone have a BlackBerry? Tell me if the Harrow went out yet.
Yeah.
I have 134 out of office replies. Yeah, it went live. The Harrow that went live at 12:30 that I actually wrote from the lobby of the restaurant went out to 14,864 people, who are sources, who are some journalists, who are small business owners. It's one of those experiences that's growing like wildfire because it's actually intrinsically a good thing. Okay? It was designed to help people. The advertising that's on the top of it now wasn't my idea, just FYI. I never intended to make money from this. I figured I'd build up to a huge list and sell it, or, you know, if worst comes to worst, I got 14,000 people forced to listen to me 3 times a day. Okay? As someone who's ADD and a bit melodramatic, holy crap. It's like a dream for me. So, to be able to have all these people listen, I thought was the highlight of my day, and then people started calling saying, hey, can we advertise? Of course you can. I planned on that. Anyway, the queries that have come out of this list have rivaled ProfNet. I knew I was getting somewhere real when I found out through a source that ProfNet has issued talking points against me. Yeah, ProfNet has a list of 10 reasons why you should use ProfNet as opposed to Help a Reporter. One of them is because they have 30 editors they have 30 editors putting all these leads together for you. He only has one. That would be me. To which my response is, well, shit, you might want to work on your time management skills if I can do everything that you're doing, but that's neither here nor there. I never had a problem with ProfNet. They obviously had a problem. Yeah, I've been a member of ProfNet since, like, 2000. But I just think that it goes back to what we were talking about doing something good and being able to change as the time warrants. ProfNet is very self-limiting in the respect that they have 18,000 members who are all willing to pay $5,000 a year. Mine's free. And I encourage you guys to tell your friends and do things like that, because that's the good karma value of it. And that goes back to, and this isn't a pitch for Harrow, this goes back to what we were talking about in the beginning. I've sent ProfNet, I've sent everyone, okay, you're not allowed to send ProfNet queries. How many of us have sent ProfNet queries to, like, friends and relatives, and you're all such liars if you're not raising your hand? We've all sent ProfNet queries. Okay, so the concept being, you're not allowed to do it. Well, you know what? If someone's looking for a music teacher, okay, with 40 years experience in New York City schools to talk about a new music teaching project in Seattle, okay, and my mother, who's technically not my client, is a music teacher with 40 years of experience, do you not think I'm going to get her in the paper? I have my 94-year-old grandmother in glamour. She's dead now. How are you feeling? I'm just kidding. I'm totally joking. My grandmother, they were doing a story like 2 years ago. I saw ProfNet, things I've learned that I wish I'd changed. And they were looking for older people. Because I doubt the American Society of Grandmas has a PR agency. I called and said, you should totally talk to my grandma. My grandmother had a camera crew show up. They had people doing her makeup. There's a 94-year-old woman who sits in her house and reads. This was the highlight of her life. Okay? She told everyone. She was, oh my God, she called up relatives that she hadn't spoken to in 30 years because she was angry at them. Put that all aside. I'm going to be the magazine. My grandson got me, and it was awesome. Full photo of grandma. I mean, she hung that grandma on her wall. Why wouldn't you do that? Okay? Why wouldn't you help a reporter, give a reporter a source that's not your client, that happens to be a friend or has to go to just because you can? There's nothing bad at it. It's one of those things that we don't, well, how can I bill this? Screw billing it. Okay? I never started Harrow to make any money, and the thing is making money hand over fist from ads. I didn't do this intentional. Why wouldn't you just do it for the sake of doing it? And it kind of comes down to that in the end. Grandma passed away in February. I mean, the woman was 98. God, she closed down the bar. It was totally cool. But at her funeral, everyone was talking about, that they mentioned like 3 things. They mentioned the time that I pushed her down a hill. She was in a wheelchair in Disney World. I let her go down the hill. I caught her. And then they mentioned something else. I don't remember what it was. And then they mentioned the karma article. And said, yeah, the rabbis out there going, the only 94-year-old woman we ever knew to be in a fashion magazine was, Grandma Betty. Why wouldn't you? And that goes for your clients. That goes for pitching new business. I pitch new business all the time because I think it's fun. I'm in a fun position where I can take on clients because I enjoy them. Having sold a couple of companies, I could go to clients now that I think have a fun product and work with them as opposed to having to take on clients, just for the sake of taking on clients. So I'll sit with clients. I don't think you're 100% right for someone like me, for my agency, because I just don't think you need a PR firm yet. But let's brainstorm a little bit and figure out what your story is. I have time. I'm buying them lunch anyway. Either way, I'm gonna have to buy them lunch. Why not sit with them for 20 minutes over coffee and figure out what you can do for them? I guarantee you that stuff comes back, and it's the kind of thing that comes back when people say, PR. I got 14,000 people now who recommend Peter Shankman. When someone needs PR, and it's not you don't do that for the hell of doing it. You do it because it's fun. So, look, I have no idea how long I'm supposed to speak or like when I'm supposed to finish. And everyone looks at their watch like, damn, the day's gone. But I'm here all day anyway, so I'll gladly keep talking to you guys and keep shooting it. You know, after this, we can go grab a seltzer. Marathon's in November, by the way. Big party at my place in early December. Let's just get drunk. It comes down to this. In the end, it comes down to this. And this is, if you're going to take any notes on anything, write this down. Technology is, you know, Moore's Law, right? Every 18 months, technology doubles. Okay. The concept behind technology is where how many of you know what a flip cam is? I'm going to walk over there and get my bag because I want to show you this thing. How many of you guys have ever seen my blog for the Buy Peter Sandwich interviews? Buy Peter Sandwich interview is basically an interview that I do with journalists and with publicists and with people who are somehow or another interested in the industry. They're very smart and they're very intelligent in their space. And so I'll interview journalists and I'll talk to them about what they're doing and how they are basically what pisses them off as a publicist. You know, if you're a publicist pitching this person, what drives you crazy? I just interviewed David Blaine, the CEO of Edelman Europe. I interviewed Jill Ivey, who freelances a lot. She was on it. So I interviewed these reporters and I put them up online. And I came up with the idea because I had this really, I saw Phil Gomes over at Edelman had this camera and I'm like, oh my God, that's really cool, I want it. Basically, it's a video camera that when you're done recording, you go like this, pop it into a USB, and it goes right up online. This is like, oh my God, this is like geek orgasm. Yeah, this thing is awesome. So I started doing, I interviewed one person. I'm like, so, what are we having for lunch? And I posted on my blog and called it the Buy Peter Sandwich interview. Okay, 5 seconds later, I had 20 emails. I want to be a Buy Peter Sandwich interview today. From like journalists. I'm like, okay. So I started doing them. Carry a camera around. Interview people. Talk to people. Carry a regular camera around. You know, carry a BlackBerry. It's the technology that we're in right now. As I put you all on camera, saying hi, wave, everyone wave, hi. There you go. I'll put this on my blog, Shankman.com, a little later. Hi, Steve.
How weird is this?
Everyone knows. Right. Steve is flipping me, flipping Steve. Which in any we could get arrested for in Texas. So this is, you know, this thing takes up 5 seconds of space in my pocket. Okay? Post it right there. Put it online, everyone sees it. We live in a society that requires instant gratification. If you can do something to help someone out, make someone laugh, how many of you saw Where's Matt? How wonderful was Where's Matt? How many of you have no idea what I'm talking about? Where's Matt? A guy named Matt had a really funny way of dancing, and his friend videotaped it. And he's like, hey, this is kind of cool. And he basically didn't want to get a job, so he quit college, walked around the world, and every place he was in, he had someone videotape him dancing. Well, Stride Gum saw that and said, hey, we really like that. Can we sponsor your next world tour? He goes, well, I wasn't really yeah, my next world tour is next month. And he just came back from 16 months of going to every country imaginable, the demilitarized zone. You name the country, I mean, literally, far-off places where he'd dance. Put it to some music, put it online, he'd run up the stage show. And he's made millions of people smile. That's the kind of stuff that I think is brilliant because it costs, maybe it costs Stride, what, 20 grand? The exposure they got out of being part of such a happy brand, what do they have to do? They don't know who the hell this kid is. What do you mean, you want us to pay for you to go dance for them? What the hell's wrong with you? Well, I think you make people happy. Okay, cool. Our gum's about making people happy. That might be fun. I only choose Stride Gum now. Okay? I'm like a fanboy for Stride Gum. How many of you even knew there was a brand of gum called Stride? Exactly. It's one of those really, really great, wonderful things that you can do that proves the world's not such a horrible place. We live in a society. Yeah, how many of the great book, if you're going to read a book other than mine, a book called Raving Fans. You ever read Raving Fans? The concept behind Raving Fans basically states that we go to the dry cleaner, we go to our meeting, we go to our publicist's office, we go to the McDonald's, we expect to be treated like crap. Okay? We order a Diet Coke, they give us a Coke. We just expect that. We expect crappy service. Treat your customers one level above crap. Doesn't have to be good. Just one level above crap. And they're going to remember you. Treat your clients' customers well. They'll become customers for life, and they'll become raving fans. They'll start raving and doing the Muppet dance, the Muppets running down the street. That's where we are. Oh, dude, I own the Muppet dance. Okay. That's where we are. It doesn't take, you don't have to jump above and beyond the Call of Duty, just 1% a little bit better. Call your clients and say, hey, what's up? Whenever I'm in a different city with a client, when I'm going in this, use your words, when I'm in a city that I have a client in, and the client does not know I'm there, I will randomly show up at their office with pizza. Because I like pizza, and because it's a really cool way to just get them to talk. You know, if you're billing your clients hourly, go off the clock for an hour. You know, ask them to go for a run with you. I run with like virtually every client. If they beat me, I don't sign them. But there is a Wall Street Journal reporter who needed to drop 10 pounds before her wedding. I'm sworn to secrecy not to mention her name, but she is a pretty big Wall Street Journal reporter. I guarantee you pitched her. She called me. She said, "Hey, I hear you do some military-style boot camp. Will you train me? Will you run with me and not tell anyone?" We ran together for 3 months. This was like in 2004 or something, I think. She lost 12 pounds, got married, looked stunning in the dress, is now a friend for life. Not rocket science here, people. We're doing this stuff anyway. Why not share it? So, with that, I look at the fact that we're moving into this huge social media mass world where everything is known about everyone, that don't make it all about me. The people who get the great stories place are not the people who go in with the cold pitch, not knowing what the reporter's about, but they're the ones who track them and learn about them and follow their information and get what they have to know and then send them something relevant. Okay, I have reporters that say, "You know what, Peter, you can call me. There are only the 3 or 4 people that I call. You can call." That's like mind-blowing to me. I would never call a reporter. That's like going to the Pope and high-fiving him. You just don't do, there's certain things you don't do. And these are reporters who, they're not going to call me, no worries. I can text some reporters, I can tweet them. It's a wonderful feeling when people stop looking at you as adversarial or corporate and start accepting you into the world of, all right, you're cool. My final 2 thoughts, rule on Facebook. I will accept anyone as a friend until you become an idiot. And this is, I think, a good way of thinking about life. Assume that everyone is a decent person until they become a mess up. Okay, you replace mess up with your choice of word before up. But until they screw up. So you want to come into my Facebook group? Cool. If you send me some event notification that you're doing like a multi-level marketing thing and you want me to involve, you're not my friend anymore. If you throw a sheep at me, you're not my friend anymore. Okay, if you bite me like a vampire or whatever the hell crap it, you're not my friend anymore. Okay? If you go on LinkedIn and say, "Hi, I'd like to," or my favorite, if you send me an email and screw up the mail merge, "Hi, first name. I would like," do you have any idea how many people are not my friends because according to them, my first name is first name? Hi, all right, my favorite is hi, comma. All right, hi, comma. Hi, colon. Yeah, that is a lot. If you're gonna do a mail merge, make sure you have that stuff right. Jesus. My favorite is that there's the Fair Media Council. Is a group out on Long Island. Nice people. They do a bunch of different things over here, but I know the founder. They're really good. They're decent people, and they try to really heal the rift between journalists and publicists. But for whatever reason, I've just been in their system wrong for years. And my middle name starts with an H, and that's all you're getting. And so it's, "Hi, Peter." For 6 years, I've been Peter. Who the hell Peter is? It's like my Indian doppelganger or whatever. I have no idea who this guy is, but for 6 years, I've been Peter. So the next time I meet the woman, and I've told her before, she's like, "Peter." I'm like, "It's up." So, use the technology, but use it well. Sometimes put the technology away. Instead of using, first of all, get on Twitter, get on these things, follow them, learn to use them wisely because they can be your best friend. And they can help you learn about these people and figure out what these people need, publicists, clients, whatever, reporters, before you get into it. But before you even use the technology, remember my dad and the 17 dead birds. Okay, that are probably still rotting with their little bird bones dead under 5 feet of construction wood. Just because you have the tools doesn't mean that that's all you need to do. You still need to be a human and know how to use them. But they are there, and they can do incredible things for us. So with that, I will eat my now melted, I didn't even get ice cream. Dude, I hate this place. I will leave it with that. I will say thank you. I'll take questions. I'll stick around.
I need to tape stop.
You need to tape stop. So yeah, I'll do that. Now the last thing I will say, I swear to God, this is the last thing I'll say. Be a little, all this stuff, all the helping people, and the goal of it all is just to be a little bit different. So I'm gonna, one final exercise. Everyone reach into their pockets or their cards or their purses, pull out a business card. Come on, quick. All right, pull out a business card. Okay, you don't have a business card, that's okay. Everyone pull out a business card. And once you have it out, hold it up like this by the tip. Okay. Different colors, different styles. Cool, mermaid, okay, that's cool, a little bigger. Cool. You know what I'm seeing mostly though? I'm seeing pieces of paper, all 2 1/4 inch by 1 1/4. But it's okay. That's, I guess that's the accepted standard. I guess my question is who said that it was required that your business card had to be 2 1/4 inch by 1 1/4? I mean, seriously, is there a law? I don't think there is. Yet most people do that. Which is kind of funny because mine tend to be poker chips. And they tend to make noise. And they're, for an ADD person, they're wonderfully tactile. Ooh, shiny. And so I used to play with them. And you know what? These don't fit in Rolodexes. And these don't fit in your card scan. So you have no choice but to hold on to these and put them on your desk and play with them and twirl them and learn how to do that stupid thing they do in Vegas and I can't do. And you know what? I get more people asking me for more of these. Be a little different. It's the easiest thing in the world to do and no one's going to kill you for it. And if they do and you get fired, I'll hire you. Thank you guys.
We hope you enjoyed this presentation by the Philadelphia chapter of the Public Relations Society of America. If you'd like more information, visit our website, prsa.philly.org. We produce this program in the studios of Professional Podcasts in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. For PRSA Philadelphia, this is Steve Lubetkin. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you out there on the net. Take good care.